Woody Wommack joined by Mike Farrell. Another big week for the Georgia Bulldogs as they grab a commitment from Rivals 100 offensive lineman Micah Morris and then Rivals 250 running back Lovasea Carroll, which is what we're going to say. We're not trying to pronounce it, but let's start
It's
with
better than my pronunciation.
let's start with Morris. This is a guy whose stock was on the rise big time, and I think would have continued to go up from a rankings perspective because he was on his way to a dominating start to the camp season.
Yeah, he's obviously a huge kid, 325 already. A young kid, too. I think he's only 16 years old as a junior in high school. So he's got a lot of, maturing to do. Technically, he's okay, but I like he's physical and plays angry, and he wants to finish to the whistle and put kids in the ground. And, this is a kid that has a tremendous ceiling, high upside. Alabama wanted him. He grew up an Alabama fan. Alabama led at one point in time, and then Georgia just comes and keeps him home and says to Nick Saban, "Not today." And I think it's one of those commitments that people, an offensive lineman, who cares, But for real recruitniks, this is a huge commitment and it's a huge win over Alabama, and it continues to send the message that Georgia is recruiting at the highest level in the SEC. I still say if they keep recruiting this way, they're going to win a national title. But I don't know. I mean, the coaching seems to get in the way a little bit. So, we'll see. But this was huge. Big commitment.
Yeah, and he's a guy from, you say, okay, he's an in-state kid. He's from Georgia. But, I mean, he's closer to Gainesville than he is to Athens. So, I mean, this wasn't a guy that was, like you said, he was an Alabama fan. He's closer to some other options. But so, I mean, this really speaks to the recruiting job that they did to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, they'll still lose a battle here and there to Auburn and Alabama, and then Florida will still some kids from South Georgia, but not as much as it used to be. I mean, Kirby and his staff do a very good job recruiting all over the state, whether it's the sticks or the city. And, even if these kids are, as you mentioned, going further away to go to Athens, they want to stay home. They see something special building there and growing there. And, they were so close to the national championship, obviously, when they lost in the Tua game. And then the offense sort of regressed a little bit. They continue to dominate the SEC East. Florida's coming up, but still, I think Georgia's the team to beat, and I think kids see that. They just have to get over that SEC West hump, because last year was LSU. This year, it would probably be Alabama again, and that's tough to get over. But eventually, they have to if they recruit this way.
And then Lovasea Carroll, another Georgia native, went down to IMG, but a guy that is going to return, to his home state there. And his commitment came as a bit of a surprise, especially because the way Georgia's been kind of picking and choosing running backs over the years. So they must be a fan of his to take him this early.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they pick and choose running backs, and they choose not to take a Zach Evans when they've got a letter from him. And, they had Kendall Milton last year, and all the success they've had at running back, putting guys in the draft and the NFL in recent years as well. They can pick and choose. I think it speaks to a couple things. The 2021 class isn't loaded at running back. And this kid's a versatile athlete. He's kind of the Tank Bigsby of this year for Georgia. He can play some outside receiver or slot receiver. He can play defense. He's a very physical kid on defense as well. So if he doesn't work out at running back, they can at least find a home for him. So I think that's what made him attractive, is to take this early. I thought, that they had cooled on him a little bit, but, in this climate, you can't turn away talented kids and say, well, let's see how you do at summer camp. Let's see how the season plays out. You don't even know what's going to happen. So bird in hand is definitely a strategy for a lot of teams, and I think that's the case here.
All right, so Georgia keeps rolling. A couple of big names out there, but six, technically, I'll say five because Carroll's listed as being a Florida prospect, but six guys, Georgia natives in the fold, and a great start to them for the 2021 class. Thanks, Mike, for joining us. Stay locked in to Rivals.com for more videos, and check out UGAsports.com for more in-depth coverage of the Georgia Bulldogs.